जय श्री माताजी। सभी सहयोगी भाई बहनों का आज के ध्यान सत्र में हम स्वागत करते हैं। कलेक्टिव बंधन। तीन महामंत्र, उसके पश्चात श्री गणेश मंत्र। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी कृपावंत होकर हमें ध्यान में संतुलन प्रदान कीजिए। इस संतुलन की अवस्था में हमें ध्यान का आनंद मिले, निरानंद मिले, ऐसा आशीर्वाद हमें दें। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपकी कृपा में इस संतुलन की अवस्था में हम अपनी ध्यान की गहराई में उतर सके, ऐसी स्थिति हमें प्रदान कीजिए। इसी ध्यान की अवस्था में हम परम पूज्य श्री माता जी की अमृतवाणी आत्मसात करेंगे।
I hope you enjoyed yesterday's puja very much. Today I wanted to talk to you about certain matters where people get quite confused. There are certain things we must understand in Sahajayoga. First point, there is no fundamentalism in Sahajayoga. Nobody should use my words or say mother said so. Nobody should. That is how all these hierarchies have been built. In the churches, everybody can read, everybody can find out. There is no way of controlling people by saying mother said so. That shows that you are trying to use my words to tell people off. You are not in charge. If I say something in the program of Sahajogis, I say it because it is heart-to-heart talk between my children and myself. And it should not be just sent over through your computers all over the world without consulting, without censoring it by the leader. There's no haste in Sahajayoga. So that should not be done. Now, this I have said, definitely. Whatever I have said, nobody remembers, only they use my name. Mother said so in 1970. In 1970, I never spoke in English. So all these historical utterances should not be used. We live in the present. That time maybe the situation was such I might have said something, but today the situation is different. Maybe because Sahajogis were just coming to Sahajoga, maybe they needed some sort of a guideline. It's a journey, first of all. It's a journey. You are passing through a slope. Then you have to use a different type of method. Now you are walking on a plain land. Then you don't behave as if you are climbing a mountain. So it's a journey of Sahajoga to our destination. The destination is that we have to emancipate maximum number of human beings into Sahajoga. But that should not be taken over. I again tell you, nobody should take over things from the leaders. I have appointed the leaders just to coordinate with you people, but you have always a direct relationship with me. So far, all these people who believed in God had no direct connection. But now you have. So why not use me? And if there are leaders, you have to ask the leaders. Nobody should take things upon themselves and start preaching people. We don't like preaching. We have had enough of it. There's no need to preach others. If you have to preach, preach yourself, but not to others. One has to understand that it's a living process. We can understand from a cell at the end of a root. It has intelligence. It is completely in control of itself, and it has a direct connection with the divine power. So it moves by itself, but the attention is on the collective. Collective means the tree. It moves in such a direction that there is no argument, there is no quarreling. In the sense, there is no obstacle. Moves. Now, supposing there is a big obstacle, like a stone, it goes round it, encircles many a times for the future tree that has to come. So from the past, what do you get is the relative idea as to where you have reached. And from the future, you have to know how far you have to go. This is very important to understand because these things creep into the Western mind very easily. They don't want to have direct relations with me. That's how then you will start forming groups. One person will stand up, mother says so, finished. One tent is raised. Another one say, mother says so. Somebody will use my tapes. Anything. There's no need at all for you to get to these things and listen to them. If they want to create something, they should talk to me directly and not to do it themselves on their own, which is a very wrong attitude towards Sahajayoga. So first of all, we must know it's a living process. You cannot put on it artificial types of things which will curb the growth of Sahajayoga. It's very important to understand. There where I find that people don't understand Sahajayoga. You cannot mold into any pattern. It molds by itself, works by itself. So we cannot have any hierarchy. Never. These hierarchies ultimately become a barrier between you and me, which I don't like. All the leaders are told that whatever letters you get, whatever things you have, you should send it over to me. I would like to see them myself. But sometimes they do. Some of the leaders, especially in Australia, had a very bad experience. But now you have a very wise leader here and a very sensible person. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. Only thing I think is rather too mild sometimes with some people. He should have told, yesterday I had to suffer so much because of two ladies. Because he never told them how horrible they were. So I had to absorb all their nonsense quite a lot. Because if a leader is not mild, he'll sit on his head. If he's little strict, we'll get after him. Only thing one has to realize that everything is a living process, and through some sort of a coordinator, Mother is trying to work out in a more simpler manner. For example, if everybody writes to me for a small little thing, I mean, they write for everything, I must tell you. Absolutely something so useless sometimes that I really laugh. There's no need to ask me, like, Mother, we cannot get Indian spices here. All these stupid things. Then second in about the husbands or about the wives. Because you should not see those films or those televisions which, if you say, invariably show the fight between husband and wife. So if you go on seeing that, you will learn, you'll pick it up. It's like a parrot, you know. You pick up all the words which are to be said to your husband, harsh words, or to your wife. And then you work it out that way. And so many questions could have been easily solved. I think to work out the marriage is only question of a woman, not so much of man. Normally, men don't want to marry, normally. Though they have no responsibility, they don't have to produce children, anything. But still, they don't want to marry. They are sort of little bit afraid also. In the West, especially, not in India. In India, men want to marry because they get somebody who will spoil them, who will never answer them, listen to them, be humble. So they want to have, see, they marry. But here in the West, I have seen men don't want to marry. One fellow, I told him that you have to get married. He disappeared for 3 days. So this marriage problem, we have to have marriages. But this marriage problem comes when women don't know how to adjust, mainly, I must tell you. The first thing is you have to really spoil your husbands. Actually, they should entirely depend on you for everything. Then what will they do? But in a loving manner, not in an oppressive way. Do not demand anything, do not expect anything. Just be gentle, kind, express your love. Then they get used to it. They can't live without it. These tricks should have told to you by your parents, but they might have been the same as you are. So you don't know the tricks of the trade. After marriage, we have to say we are. We. Shouldn't say I. And also understand, you see, men are different from women. They are different. You are the preserver of the society. They are the creator, but you are the preserver. And you have to have much more patience and compassion, which you have, no doubt. You must take to your feminine qualities, and you'll be amazed that you are Shakti for men. You are the power for men. That's why men must respect women. If they don't respect women, not their romanticism and nonsense, but as personality, if they don't respect, then they suffer every way, especially materially. Materially they suffer, and also reputation-wise. Some women are extremely demanding and expecting too much. Perhaps maybe they see those pictures of Romeo, Juliet and things like that. But if you see Romeo, Juliet, you will see what Shakespeare wanted to communicate. He was an Avaduta. He wanted to communicate that these are all futile enterprises. Both of them died. They could never enjoy companionship. We had so many problems like this in England also. So I told them, what books you read? Most of them read books of romance, all right. But romance before marriage. There are no books about romance after the marriage. Can you imagine? So, naturally, there's a problem. After marriage is quarreling. Before marriage, romance. So why marry? And when I said that man is the head of the family, it doesn't mean that man should dominate a woman. Never. You interpret also, sometimes I think some of the brains are other way down. What I was saying, that he is the head of the family. Supposing I say he is your leader, that doesn't mean that he should dominate you. If head of the family start dominating, if the brain of the body starts dominating, what will happen to this body? It's stupid to conclude like that. But you are the heart of the family. Brain can die, but heart dies the last. So try to understand, there should be a complete integration between heart and brain. And children are the attention in the society of Sahajayoga. So here, how can you have such an idea that if I say the head, then he dominates the heart? How can it? So they pick up few words from here and there and use it for justifying their own weaknesses in Sahajayoga. But this kind of escape is not going to help you to rise. You are going against yourself, it is not for your benevolence. What I am telling you is that if you try to accept all these outdated ideas in Sahajayoga, you will go down, you will rot. No use coming to Sahajayoga. We are fresh, we are new, and we are living. We don't accept these kind of ideas about men or women. But when I said that man is the head of the family, that doesn't mean that you dominate your wife and torture. Nor does it mean that the leader should dominate. Never. They should never dominate. They should use their wisdom. their love, compassion, and guide you in the proper way. I've received a letter which is very funny, that one leader's wife, not the leader, but wife, forbid one of the Sahajayoginis not to come to the house and to the program because I could not go to her house. Can you imagine? This is absurd. Now, if I tell her, she'll be more harsh on that person. But by doing that, she doesn't know how much she's missing points in Sahajayoga. I mean, I'm a whimsical person. I can go anywhere I feel like. But she should have taken the blame upon herself. If she thinks I did not go to her house instead of on the another person. Also, there's a thing that this is my house. This is the biggest nonsense. Mother should come to my house. With Indian especially, it's too much. Please come to my house, mother. Come and have dinner with me. Who are you? You are a Sahajayogi. So your house is mine, you are mine, everything is mine. What is there to come to your house? Then you separate. This is also an Indian mind, I must confess. My house. This is nonsense. All your houses are mine. If I go there, it doesn't mean that I love you more than anybody else. It doesn't mean that. I have to go somewhere, Like somebody asked me, why did you take your birth in Christian religion? I said, I had to take my birth somewhere. But better was for Christians because Christians are absolutely fundamentalist mentally. Mentally, they are absolute fundamentalists. Mentally. That's more dangerous. Muslims, you can make them out they're fundamentalists because they do not have that finesse about them. Openly, they are fundamentalists. But Christians are very great fundamentalists. But going to somebody's house now is becoming a problem for me. Because if I go to somebody's house, that person gets the ego, oh, she came to my house. So again, you are not to say that, mother, this is my house. Mother, this is your house. If I go there, well and good. If I don't go there, well and good. What does it matter? Now again I tell you, nothing has to be sent through your IBM or anything without the consultation and censoring by the leader. It can land me into great difficulties and tomorrow I could be in jail. Why don't you understand? And you write whatever you feel like. So this kind of irresponsible behavior is, I can't understand. And things I never said also can be said. This shows immaturity and haste. Such things should be consulted and use your discretion. Main thing is discretion. What you need to consult your leader, which are vitally important. Especially things which are written down and published. Things which circulate is extremely important to be seen by the leaders. There is no hurry about it. Any book written, any tapes to be released, anything should be done with the complete consent and understanding of the leader. I would say the leader must sign those papers. Then I can hold him responsible. But if you are arbitrary and start doing things, then it could be dangerous. Simple things, I'll tell you what. They asked me, Mother, what do you think of starting a Vishwanirmala Dharma in Melbourne? I said, all right. I didn't know that it's going to be an association, there's going to be an election and all, nothing. Just I said, all right, just to start is all right. Vishwa Nirmala Dharma is everywhere, but they don't have any association, nothing. It's just a kind of a society which is just spreading Vishwa Nirmala Dharma. There is no sort of any organization about it. We only have trust. And we don't want to have any electioning on all that. Again, if some wrong type of people get in, then Sahajayoga will be ousted completely. So you can only have trust. And if you want to do something else, you can form it separately. But it should not be Vishwa Nirmala Dharma or Sahajayoga. Nothing. Because I said yes, that doesn't mean that you should go that far with forming this, that, association and all that. It's a news to me. All right, whatever has been done has to be rectified. Absolutely to be rectified. And we have to bring it down to a proper level. And should be there people who should be elected as good people who are in Sahajayoga, who have so far have been doing everything in a straightforward manner, and who have been very, very sensible about it. There's also a suggestion that we should project ourselves to outside things. If it means that we have to go to other organizations, it's wrong. All these organizations are dead organizations, they are not living organizations. But if they want to come to us, all right. But we should not go and break our heads with them. Because you'll end up not only with opposition, but you will catch from them negativity. Try to understand. We don't have to grow that fast that we get all the lunatics in Sahajayoga. We have to be very careful. We can only have Sahajogis who are seekers, who are honest, who are humble, who do not want any money or power out of Sahajayoga. It will grow. It has grown. Just imagine. 2 people came from Australia and see how many are there. It will definitely grow, no doubt. But do not try to organize it. You cannot organize. Once you start organizing, then the growth can be stunted. Like you have seen bonsai. Bonsai, when they cut it and organize it, it becomes a small tree. But I haven't seen any tree which grows, if it is organized, grows more. Never. At the most you can nourish it, at the most you can water it, at the most you can see the needs of this. But you cannot just make it grow more. All organizations cut the growth. In the beginning, it may look that by organizing it, it has increased. We can say Christianity. What is this? Like a pumpkin, has no meaning. Absolutely empty, hollow nonsense. Like Islam, another nonsense. I mean, they admit that Islam is different from Muslims. It is being admitted now. What is Buddhism? Another nonsense. So this kind of an artificial growth, if you want, you can take to artificial methods. We really want substantial people, substantial dharma, innate within ourselves. We don't have to take to these artificial things. We are using lots of artificial manure now. And people are revolting against it because they think that all these artificial things are harmful to us. So allow it to work out through the grace of this divine power in a more natural manner than putting artificial organizations, artificial this and that. I think some of you must have been to Harvard or something to learn how to grow the business. And that's how you try to grow. But ultimately it comes to recession. All those who had education in Harvard are responsible all over the world, and all over the world there is recession. I think this university should be closed now. ऊपर नहीं भी वो चल जाएगा उसके इतने नहीं इसके बाद. So now, regarding your children, I have been really studying the nature of Western children. Now, the nature of Western children is that their attention is never on the right things. Not on studies. I should say not at all on studies. Now, on food, yes. Like in England, they asked for baked beans in the morning. Now, these horrible tinned baked beans which you have been giving to them are not at all suitable for Indian climate. And they are no good. You see, if you see a Western health of a person, I mean, when you go to India, you get diarrhea. You cannot stand heat. You cannot stand cold. Anything that changes, you feel so much the sickness. Apart from that, all the time you are tired. You must introspect. Little work you'll do and you are tired. I mean, you see in the films or anywhere, I've seen, even in the television, they'll come and sit down. What work they have done, God knows. All the time. What is the reason? The reason is to think too much. Same with your marriages. You start thinking, what are my priorities? What should I do? Start analyzing. Just do it what you want to do. This thinking too much is responsible for your susceptibility to diseases. Of course, Muladhara is one of the most important chakra, no doubt. If the Muladhara is weak, you catch it. You can catch any disease. For example, cancer, AIDS, schizophrenia, Yuppies disease, also the secret diseases, herpes and all these things are very common in the West, but not in India. Very few. Because of a strong Muladhara. So now, first problem is how to strengthen your Muladhara. The second one is the kind of food you are eating here is not so fresh. Try to eat fresh food. At least in Australia you can get it. as far as possible. Take to more carbohydrates. If you are thinking too much, best is to take to carbohydrates. You are so much worried about putting on weight or this thing. I don't know why you want to be skinny. What is the need? On the contrary, a person who has little plumpness absorbs vibrations much better. But do you know that vibrations sit on the fat? They sit on the fat. And that's why they go on the nerves, because nerve is made of fat. Your brain is also made of fat. So this new idea of having mosquitoes around, sometimes, I get frightened. I think next moment that person is going to fall on the ground. So whatever is pumped into your head, you accept. That's why the entrepreneurs are definitely controlling. You have no idea. Because we don't have that wisdom to see. Now they said, all right, you shouldn't put any oil in your head. All right? Never put any oil. So you become bald. So they can sell wigs. All such things are there. You can put oil before previous night just to make your hair grow properly. You must give them nourishment. Why do you starve them? What's wrong with oil? I just don't understand. You must massage your body also with oil. It's very important. Sometimes Saturday, if you use oil to massage your body, is a very good idea. Also massage your head. You must look after yourself. But just because there's a fashion not to put oil, so you just not have any oil anywhere near. They all used to put oil. If you see films about, say, 30 years back, they were all nicely. Nobody had dry hair, all shining, nice hair. They were supposed to be quite good looking. And this bhoothish type of hair, then when you have, all the bhoots will take over because they'll think this is the head for me. So try to understand what is good for your body and what you should do. Massaging your body is a very good thing. I think without oil I cannot exist. Really. Because my work is on Sahasrara. And if I starve my hair, either I'll become completely bald or mad, one of the two. It's very soothing to massage your hair, very soothing for your nerves, everything. And you are realized souls, there's vibrations flowing. You should massage your head nicely. Take about an hour on a Saturday. Saturday is the day of Shani, is the day of Saturn, the day of Shri Krishna. He's so fond of butter and oil. All these small things should be understood. Also, you people are very fond of sun, I can understand that. I don't know why in Australia you are so fond of sun when it is so much. But because it's a fashion in the West, you are all going to the sun, to the sea, and spoiling your skin. Your skin cannot have the glow. While, you see, if you do not use sunbathing as some sort of a treatment, it's all right, there's a lot of sun, you can move about. Indians used to wonder about the English. There was a saying that an Englishman and a mad dog in the sun. Even a sane dog won't go. All such things should be understood. Personal hygiene also has to be seen. Use lot of water to wash your hands, and when you are using toilets, water should be used every time. Very important. Otherwise, your muladhara can never be alright. Your children, I'm surprised, they don't want to brush their teeth. And if you tell them you have to brush, they start crying. If you tell them you have to have a bath, they start crying. Imagine in that sweltering heat of India, they don't want to have a bath. And they smell. But when you tell them, our parents also smell like that. Their mouths smell. In India, at least twice, we must brush. Once in the morning, once in the evening, minimum. Evening time, we all brush our teeth in India. It's very important. Now, these are such small, small things which I think our culture in India has already taught us long time back. I mean, we don't have to tell anyone like that. They'll say, what are you telling us? This nonsense. But they should be fond of doing this. So, the way is that when your children are growing, you take them in the bathroom, make a fun out of it. Now, let's see, we'll brush our teeth. You brush your teeth, I'll brush my teeth now. See whose are whiter. Like that. Make a fun out of it. You are the one who can teach them good hygiene. Then bathing. All these little things are very important for you and for your children. So the hygiene part is very poor, personal hygiene. Of course, your house is very clean, absolutely. If anything falls on the carpet, immediately you pick it up. Because this carpet may be sold later on. Whatever is sellable, you look after. Now your teeth also can be sellable. You need not neglect them. But you will not be careful. Whatever is sellable, you are very careful. Your house, very careful. Your carpets, very careful. But whatever is not sellable is not worth it. Now in Sahajayoga, we should know that nothing is sellable. Whatever we have and own, we'll keep it with ourselves or give it to our children or give it as presents to others. We are not going to sell anything. Everybody is a seller. House is to be sold, very particular about the house. If something goes wrong, we'll shout at children. We were surprised that these children were more careful about nonsensical things like carpets than their teeth. Something fell down on the carpet. Immediately they all rushed and cleaned the carpet. We started wondering what's the matter with them. That's not their job. That's the training they have. Whatever is sellable, they try to put right. So we must change our mind and say that whatever we own, we are not going to sell it. Or sometimes you have to sell the house, all right. That's not so important. In any way, whether the house is clean or dirty, you will face the same price. That's my experience. Whether you decorate or not. On the contrary, undecorated houses they like because of their ego. Very surprising. We had bought a house in Hounslow. And one side belonged to one of the Sahajayoginis, one side to me. I had no time to decorate or anything. And she, poor thing, spent so much money to decorate it and all that. And some people lived also. Of course, she made little money out of it, whatever it is. But my house sold for a higher price than hers. Why? They said it's already done. We can't do anything about it. So also the ego is there. That we should be able to do something in the house. And thus, it doesn't make difference. In any way, they don't pay for your carpets and don't pay for your things. But people are so particular about their furniture, about everything. So now this is what is materialism. Is absolute materialism. That we try to get things just for selling off. On the contrary, we have to look out what are the beautiful things made by hand. What can we have? Whatever is made by hand by people can have few. And that can be given to your children, to the progeny. Also sometimes the idea of antique, who's this child? Please take away. Who's the child? Who is the child crying? You must find out why the child is crying in my program. Must be something wrong. Must be some bada. If a child cries in my presence or is afraid, that means there's some sort of a bada which you should try to remove. So now we have to change our attitude towards ourselves. We are specially blessed people. We have to look after our body, look after our children. We have to look after things which are of much greater importance than material things. That is the spirit. So ultimately we come to the point that the spirit which has given us all this beauty, which has given us such moonlight in our life, such sunshine in our work, which has made us so sweet. After all, what we have done for the spirit to satisfy it, to enjoy it. So the most important thing for us is our spirit. And we should seek the comfort of the spirit. The more you think about your spirit, the deeper you'll go. And the joy you'll get will be also very deep and you'll settle down very nicely embedded in spirituality. So you have to all the time think, am I doing this for my spiritual growth? I mean, in a place like England, people get up at 4 o'clock to meditate. Nothing doing. This time there was a big number. I told so many English that you have been coming every time to Ganpati Pune. Can you not reduce your number? They felt very sad. Mother, we need it. We have to. But I said, this time you can avoid. There are so many people coming if we have too many people, because about 150 people came from other countries, you see, who were not even paying and who were not such yogis. So I said, we have to work it out with them. They said, Mother, but we can't help it. We have to be there. We can't do without it. So this kind of understanding, I'm so happy that you all managed to come all this way here. You are settled so well. You're living in tents and enjoying this discomfort because you have got the comfort of your heart, comfort of your spirit.
जय श्री माता जी। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपावंत होकर आप हमें निर्लिप्त साक्षी बनाइए। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, कृपावंत होकर आप हमें ऐसी स्थिति प्रदान करें जिससे हम आपकी लीला को देख सकें। जो भी घटित हो रहा है उसको साक्षी भाव, निर्लिप्त साक्षी भाव से देख सके। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, हमसे जो भी कार्य हो, जो भी कर्म हो, वो सब हम आपके पावन चरणों में रख सके, पूर्णतः समर्पित होकर रख सकें, ऐसी स्थिति हमें प्रदान करें। परम पूज्य श्री माता जी, आपके प्रति अनन्य भक्ति हो, इस तरह का आशीर्वाद और ऐसी ध्यान की स्थिति, आध्यात्मिक स्थिति हमें कृपा कर प्रदान कीजिए। श्री माता जी, आपके पावन चरणों में हमारे कोटि कोटि प्रणाम। कलेक्टिव बंधन। आज का ध्यान केंद्र यहीं पर संपन्न होता है। जुड़े रहने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय श्री माता जी।